just played through 7 games using my new double tight end based offense. It is inspired around the Gronk, Aaron Hernandez, and Tom Brady run with the Patriots, where they built a multifaceted offense with 2 movable chess pieces at tight end that created mismatches all over the field and enabled the Pats to dictate how the game was going to be played. We will be going over 7 plays in this video that really focuses on using these multiple tight ends as run blockers, and then dynamic weapons in the pass game that can run away from linebackers but are too big and physical for DBs to cover, and it will be run out of the double tight end formations in the New England Patriots playbook. I also went back and tracked each play over the 7 games and got the stats for each, so we can get a gauge on how effective each one of these unique setups actually are, and so you can see how often I use each one over the course of the season. Then this double tight end Pats offense is all part of my Brady career offensive scheme, where I have 5 videos planned breaking down all the different eras over Brady's insane Patriots run. So check the description to see the playlist with all the videos in this scheme. The first run we are breaking down in this scheme is going to be counter Y in single back bunch ace. Here we have our counter run, and this is an amazingly explosive run play, and when we get that blocking right, we can be sprung for some huge gains. You want to run with patience and wait for your tight end and pulling guards to set up their blocks, and once they engage, explode out from behind them and start picking up some big explosive gains. Now, over the course of the season, this run dominated, and I ran for 158 yards on only 11 carries for an insane 14.3 yards per carry average, and we were really just able to be super explosive with this run. Next, we have our duo run with a smoke screen on the backside. For these duos, after the snap, we will have double teams up front, blowing the D-line off the ball, and we want to just be patient, and when we see an opening, fire up field and start making plays in the open field with our running back. In 7 games, we carried this ball 12 times, really relying on this run a ton, and we had 51 yards on the ground. It was very effective for us. Now, the backbone of the 2010 to 2012 offense was their double tight end looks that they would employ, but the great thing about Gronk and Hernandez is they had polar opposite skill sets, but by playing them both at the same time, it made it so tough for defenses to match up and cover them both, and there was no pre-snap tells on if they were going to run or pass. Now, for Gronk, he was much more of an inline blocker, and he could really bully and maul people in the run game, blowing defenders off the ball, and this opened up so much for the offense. But then he was almost impossible to match up for linebackers or safeties to cover. He was just too big, fast, and physical for them. The 2011 season was probably this group's most successful in offense, and during that season, Gronk had 90 receptions for 1,327 yards and 17 touchdowns, having one of the best receiving seasons for a tight end of all time. Now, in this spot, I am using George Kittle, who is a great approximation for Gronk. Then on Kittle, I do a route tech to make sure he will really separate from man coverage and give us a ton of easy completions. Then for Hernandez, he was a move tight end and would shift all over the formation, and they would really scheme him open in the pass game, and he created so many mismatches for the offense and really was the key for this scheme with his unbelievable wide receiver like movement skills. In 2011, he got 79 balls for 910 yards to go along with 7 touchdown receptions. Then for my move tight end, I'm using Travis Kelce, who is much more that classic receiving tight end. Then on Kelce, once again, I have route tech or short and elite to make sure he will really separate from man coverage and just allow us to always shred these man coverage looks. Next, we are looking at PA Scissor Flood in A slot, and this is a great play to attack zone and man coverage, and here we have our reads and adjustments for this play. Now, this is going to be a great play to attack man and zone, and this is a great option if you are unsure what play call the defense is going to. Now, first against man, if you do think it is going to be that, I like to block the running back, and then we have these 2 outbreaking routes from our tight ends. Now, I have short and elite or route tech on both these players, and they will activate on both these routes and are amazing options to pick up big yards versus man coverage. And I threw these 8 times with 7 completions, and I was able to rack up 186 yards and 1 touchdown going to them. Then the other really good option versus man coverage is the post over the middle, and I have route tech on this player, and as he breaks, it will activate and he will separate for a really nice pickup. Then if you do think they're in zone, don't block your running back, and now it will be a play action fake, and if the flat defender bites down, then we have the tight end coming in behind him on the trip side of the field for a nice pickup. Then if the user leaves the middle of the field to take the tight end breaking out, we have the post over the middle for a really nice gain, forcing the user to stay home. Then lastly, if the whole defense is dropping back or they are bringing pressure, drop it down to the running back in the flats and let him make a play in the open open field. Now, over the course of the 7 games with this play, I went to it a ton and attempted 20 passes, completing 16 of them for a total of 350 yards, and this was a super consistent gainer for us. Next, we're looking at 4 verts in bunch ace, and this is a great zone beating play to attack all levels of the field. Next, we have one of the most consistent plays in the whole scheme to move the ball and attack all over the field versus zone coverage. First, we're going to have the running back wheel out of the backfield, and the flat will get pulled out and he will get wide open down the shallow seam for a big play. This running back route gets to a super tough area and is amazing to pick up easy yards, and over the course of the season, we went 8 of 8 throwing this route, and I picked up 79 yards and a touchdown when throwing it. Then if the user of the hooks jump down to the running back on the wheel, then we have this tight end going up the seam, and this can get to the soft spot in their zone for a nice pickup down the field. Then if the user jumps to the trip side, we have the tight end on a cross going to the opposite side of the field, and first we can quick throw this over the middle if that opens up, but then we can also wait for this cross to get in behind flat defenders on the opposite sideline and throw it in for a nice gain. On this route over the season, I went 3 of 5 for 105 yards and 1 touchdown. Then up before the snap, we see everyone is playing back. Then we can also throw the motioned out wide receiver on his wheel route. And if they're not in a hard flat, you can just drop this out and abuse the flat and pick up really easy yards super consistently. Now, during this time in Brady's career, he was really starting to come into his own as a field general and become the QB who controlled the whole team at the line and could pick you apart with his mind, but still had the arm to push the ball down the field for big plays. And during that 2011 season, he passed for 5,235 yards with 39 touchdown passes, all while being super efficient with a 105 QB rating. So I am using Tom Brady in this scheme, and I have set feet lead on him to make sure we get that extra zip on the ball. Then I'm using Hot Route Master. Now, this isn't a must use, but there will be a few plays throughout today's video where we do utilize it to make our plays more effective. Then throughout this 7-game stretch with Brady, I passed for 1,315 yards, going 66 of 89 passing. So we had a 74% completion percentage, showing we had a ton of easy high percentage throws in this offense. But then when you factor in, that means we were averaging 14.7 yards per attempt. We were really able to still push this ball down the field for some big explosive shots while still getting all our weapons involved. Then we threw 16 touchdown passes and only 3 interceptions, making this a super efficient pass game. Next, we are looking at inside cross and single back wing slot, and this is to attack zone coverage. And here are reads and adjustments for this play. Now, this mesh concept is an amazing chain mover that gives us 5 viable options to go to, and this is also a very good play to use on 3rd down to gain some easy yards. Now, first I like to look to the running back rail route. After the snap, if the flat defender on that side is dropping out, I'll just quick throw this and pick up the easy yards in front of him. Then we can look to the middle of the field, and we'll have this triangle read with the spot route over the middle and then the 2 drags. And if the whole middle of the field opens up with the hooks leaving on the drags, then just fire in this spot route as he sits down against zone for an easy pickup. Then if the hooks stay in the middle of the field on the spot route, then you can look to either one of the drags underneath, and now you can just go to whichever one has more separation in the flats and just fire it in for a nice pickup. Then against single high cover 3 defenses, we'll have this post, and the safety will drop too far out and the hooks will get sucked down by the drags and the spot route, and you can just drive in this post over the middle for a really nice gain. Just make sure on this play you keep the ball in front of the safety with your pass lead, and then this play will be super effective. Then Brady's number 1 receiver at this time was still Wes Welker, who brought that same ability to shake anyone in the open field and just get open, and he was almost uncoverable for Brady in the 2011 season, and he went for 122 receptions for 1,569 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns as Brady's go-to option. So here I'm using Julian Edelman, who brings a ton of those same attributes to the table. And I once again am using route tech on him, and we just want to make sure no matter what, we can separate and make big plays versus man. Then in the backfield, I'm using Saquon Barkley at running back. Now, during this era with the Pats, they would use a primary back who would run between the tackles, and they would use him to be their main runner, but then they would also use a pass catching back who Brady would go to a ton. And for this offense, I combine the 2 roles, and Saquon will tote the rock in between the tackles and chew up those tough yards, but then he will be also used a ton in the pass game, and we will feed him the ball, and he needs to be able to catch and make plays in the open field. Next, we're looking at RedZone HP Scissor in Gun Wing Flex, and this is designed to attack zone coverage at all levels of the field. This is an amazing play to get our running back out of the backfield for some big pickups along the sideline, but then we also have multiple posts over the middle to give us great options there. First, we have the running back out of the backfield on this corner route, and if the flat defender stays shallow at all, he will get in behind him and you can drop it in over his head for a really nice pickup. I went to this route a ton and went 7 of 8, being super efficient with it, and I passed for 106 yards and 1 touchdown going to the running back. Next, we have the shallow post, and if the user leaves the middle of the field or gets sucked down, then you can throw this quick over the middle for a nice gain, or you can wait till the crosser clears the middle and gets in behind the flat defender on the opposite sideline, and then you can fire it in for a nice pickup. Then before the snap, you see a single high safety, and post snap you get cover 3. Then this deeper post will be a great option. The safety will get 2 deeps and the hooks will get pulled down by the shallow post, and you can drive this in for a really nice pickup down the field. In total with this play over the 7 games, I went 11 for 15 for 179 yards, really able to fire this ball in all over the field, and we threw 2 touchdowns and 1 pick on this play. Then if you want to take this offense to the next level, you need to check out my website, Scheme Kings. Up right now is part 2 of this video where I'll give you 8 more plays out of these double tight end formations to allow you to make this a complete offense with the ability to attack and take advantage of any defensive looks you come up against. Then already up on the site, there is a ton more for this Pats offense that you can add to this to make it even more effective. Also on the site, you can get access to my playbooks, which are full written breakdowns for my schemes with 4 out so far, and the newest being my LOB Seahawks playbook that is 34 pages long, and it will help take your game to the next level. So if you want to check out Scheme Kings, it will be linked down in the description below. Next, we are looking at PA fork shot in bunch ace, and this is our man beating setup, and here are the reads and adjustments for this play. Now this is going to be my go-to man beater for this offense, and with it you can push the ball deep down the field and pick up a ton of explosive gains. Now our go-to route here is the corner route from the soloed receiver, and as he breaks out, route tech or short in elite will activate and you will get great separation for some really big pickups down the field. I went to this route quite often. I went 5 for 5 for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it was super explosive for me. Then if at the snap we see the middle is open, then we're going to have our receiver from the bunch side breaking over the middle of the field on a post route for another great option. Once again, use route tech on this player, and as he breaks, you'll get great separation for a big pickup. On this route, I went 3 for 4 for 52 yards attacking the middle of the field, and I threw 2 touchdowns to this route. Then we also have a corner route from the tight end on the trip side, and as he breaks to the sideline, he will get very good separation once again for another nice pickup. Then lastly, for the check down on this play, we have a whip that will break to the sideline for your 4th option and is a very good quick hitter. Now this offense is going to allow you to dominate on the ground and through the air, but I also just made the insanely explosive 2007 Patriots offense that was one of the greatest passing schemes we have ever seen. So you can combine it with this run offense and become unstoppable. So to check out the 07 Pats, you need to watch this video right here.